Happy Gratitude Tuesday, and today we're going to talk about rounding. Now, I want to mix it up a little bit because, you have heard us talk about rounding before, but Sue sent me this amazing over-the-top article that Whitney is going to post in our live here today. Hi, David and Cindy. Because it's a great read. It's a great way to reflect on yourself as a leader and a great way to take a look at in refreshing your rounding. So the problem with rounding is it really takes a lot of perseverance. I mean, it really takes stay power before you start to see the benefits of it. And we humans, God bless us all, we just give up on things way too soon. Another thing is your employees might say to you, this is boring for me, you're asking me the same questions over and over. It's just, I don't see the point in this, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is likely you as a leader. So the more leaders round, okay, but this article that I read recently said from Forbes that we're going to post in live is that the more leaders round, the higher employee engagement is. And in healthcare, the higher our employee engagement becomes into the top quartile, right, greater than 75% engagement, then the higher incidence of patient engagement we have, patient satisfaction, patient engagement. So, that whole happy nurses, happy patients, okay? In nursing specifically, this article cited that top quartile nurse engagement results in 41% fewer safety incidences with patients. 41%. Okay, just take a minute and just absorb that. That if you reach the top quartile in the nation in your employee engagement, and they're talking specifically with nursing for this particular site, but with any healthcare employee, 41% fewer safety incidences to patients. Okay, so that's worth its weight in gold, not worth its weight in whatever your CEO weighs and your CFO and the new CAT scanner and the new whatever toy that we have to buy this year. None of that matters as much as you as a leader rounding on people that report to you or that you serve. End of story, because it is the golden goose. It is the ticket. Right? It is it. In fact, if you think about it, if you knew that simply by doing this one tactic in your leadership would cause that top quartile of engagement, which would result in 41% fewer safety incidences with the patients that your departments serve, don't you think it's your moral obligation? I just had that thought. It's not even in my notes. But really, if you think about it, how can you not do it? Right? How can you not do it? So, but the problem is, in order for rounding to work, the emotional connection with the people that you're rounding on is really the key. It can't be a task. It can't be something that, it's like, oh, hey, I have some time. Let's sit down around. And everybody's running around like crazy. In fact, I decided today when I was writing up the script for this particular live, I'm doing a live on mindfulness, being a more mindful person and being a more mindful leader, and kind of what the crosswalk is to get the biggest bang for your buck in mindfulness. That's my March resiliency series to kind of kick off spring, hopefully. And I think I'm going to include some things from this Forbes article in there because how do you connect emotionally with people in the middle of a crazy busy day when you're running around going nuts? But you have to provide some thoughtfulness to it. Not a task, not a box to be checked off, not a way to throw your senior leader under the bus. I don't know why we have to do this, but if I don't, then it gets held against me at my monthly accountability meeting. So sit down and shut up and let's go through the motions, both of us. And I've seen leaders do that, and that's kind of a human response to your employees saying, oh, I hate this, it sucks, bleh. So, or can we just get this over with? Or I told you about this last time, my problems haven't changed, I'm not making enough money, yada, yada, yada. So sometimes the human response is, well, I have to do this, so be quiet. It's very, very proactive. We're literally almost everything in the rest of your day is reactive. So what can you do to tip the scales? And what this article said is we have to balance proactive with reactive. You are a leader in healthcare. You have to react to some things. You have to answer questions quickly and make decisions quickly and problem solve quickly. You have to do that throughout your day, or else you're not going to be very good at your job. But what I'm asking you is to take some time to know that if you're not going to make an emotional connection with the person that you're rounding on and really dig deep into what their emotional connection is and how you get at it, then it's probably not getting you the biggest bang for your buck. And that's why you feel like it's not any good, right? It's not doing me any good. I need to just give up. So balancing the proactive versus the reactive. So here's your 3 ways to solve it, right? First one, ask questions that matter, okay? Change them up. Have we in the past at Capstone Leadership Solutions said, hey, these are the big 4, you gotta ask them every single time? But, we always do coach that you make sure that you ask them in a specific way, that you ask them in your own voice, that it's not robotic for you. So change them up. We also recommend that you directly face challenges. So, and I'll say this, directly face challenges without being defensive. So let's say you walk into your department and you can tell the people are talking about you because they shut up. All right? Happens to a leader every day, right? Happened to me all the time. Or they know they're talking about something that they're not supposed to be. They're gossiping, they're backbiting, they're doing whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, zzz, it's like, hey, what's going on, guys? Nothing. Busy today. Busy. Meanwhile, they're all standing there, right? And so you know what that is. You hear it. You know what the challenges are. You know what's going on. You know what the drum beat is. You know the grapevine. Face those challenges directly. If there's disbelief about an initiative that's going on in your organization, if there is a challenge that people are talking about and you're not willing to face it directly, doing it in your rounding is a really great way to make that emotional connection with people and to ask questions that matter. Because remember, if people can't trust that they will hear the truth from you, then and they don't know, and they know they can rely on you to be a very transparent, approachable, direct communicator, then they will come to you for that truth, and they will not make it up on their own. They won't make up rumors as they go. So directly face challenges. Maybe you don't have the answer to the challenge. Maybe you can't control the challenge. Maybe the challenge is pay or benefits and you don't have any control over it, but you do have an answer. It's like, you know what, I can't help with that. I am so sorry that you are struggling. What can I help you with? Or, I'm trying to make this the best work environment possible for all of us. And rounding is one way that I do that. Tell me something positive besides the pay. Right? So directly face the challenges and ask about them in a new way. And remember always to ask we, not me. So a lot of times why leaders get really frustrated with their rounding is they try to solve all the problems. of the world. And, you know, what the Forbes article says is to really make sure that you phrase everything. We as a team are going to solve this together. It might be just you and I talking about this, and you're too freaked out to be able to solve the problem with me. But we are going to solve this together. Because even if your employee is on the verge of crispy critters, got some really giant things going on at home that you could never have foreseen, and you uncover them in a rounding, let them know, I'm here to support you. Please, what steps are you taking to solve this? How can I support you? What can we do together to make this better for you? I'm worried about you, right? So listen, hear, be inquisitive, okay? So you can't learn about someone if you are always coaching or teaching. You can't listen if you are always speaking. And you can't allow others to solve their own problems if you are constantly problem solving, okay? You can't learn about someone else and be inquisitive and curious about them if you are always teaching or coaching. You can't listen if you're always talking. And you can't learn how problems could possibly be solved without your running interference unless you allow people to problem solve themselves. I thought that was just so mind-blowing, because I remember very clearly wanting to take people's pain away. What do we do in healthcare? You know, for the most part, we enable a bit. But what this Forbes article says that research has shown is that 4 out of 10 employees in healthcare do not have the tools and equipment that they need to do their job well. 4 out of 10 employees in healthcare don't have what they need to do their job well. So, you know, it may be a staffing issue, it may be a financial issue, but really dig deep on that tools and equipment question, because, you know, what do you need? Is it support? Okay. So ask questions that matter. That was a big thing. Number 2, spotlight the right. I love this. So a lot of times leaders will say, I'm taking the opportunity during my rounding to coach. I'm taking the opportunity during my rounding to mentor someone. And you know what? That's okay. But, you know, everything you do has to be a 3-to-1, 3 positives for everyone: coaching, mentoring, criticism, whatever. So remember that work environment ratio is 3-to-1. And so if you're going to spotlight the right, make sure that you appreciate the human sitting in front of you. Make sure that during this opportunity that you have with them, even if you're going to take an opportunity to coach, if you're going to take an opportunity to problem solve, if you're, you know, like really digging the pus out of the wound, so to speak, still have to make sure that you appreciate what's right about that human and find something. And this is the mindfulness part of it, right? You can go into it. You can know what you're going to appreciate them for before you even sit down and do the rounding. This is free, people. Free. Every single time you round is one last chance that they will leave you. Every single time. So when we say round on everybody who reports for you every single month, unless you have a giant department, and then you probably have people who help you manage that department, but every employee needs a touch every month, because guess what? Every time you round on someone, you recognize what they do right, show them appreciation for that. You state it out loud and say, you have no idea how it makes me feel to see you care for people in this way, care for your team in this way. The happiness that you bring all of us is a God-blessed free retention bonus. Costs you nothing, right? It costs you nothing. And what matters most to people is feeling heard and feeling recognized. Sue and I have been saying for years, you know, this is not new research. The reason why people leave an organization is they feel unappreciated and unheard. And here we go. Forbes is saying, if you appreciate people and make them feel heard, during an employee rounding, it lessens by 3 times. It lessens the opportunity or that they will leave you every single time. So coach them through recognition, coach them through positivity. All right, number three. The World Health Organization has recently developed an ICD-11 code, making it a disease, an international classification of disease for a loss of resiliency or burnout. OMG. We shouldn't be surprised by this, right? 14%, 1 in 3 people are suffering from a loss of resiliency in healthcare. Doesn't matter where you're a leader or not, everybody is affected. And now they're saying that it's actually 14% true burnout. So use rounding as an opportunity to recognize resiliency and burnout, and make it something that builds resiliency in your staff. Not feeling supported by a leader results in 3 times more opportunity for burnout. So think about it. If you don't feel supported by your leader, you are 3 times more likely to be suffering from a loss of resiliency or burnout. So make your rounding an opportunity. Maybe straight up add a question. And this is an AONL skills competency checklist recommendation that we've also been teaching, is that every year somebody's got to have a plan for resiliency. And it's not a New Year's resolution for weight loss. It is, what will I do to rest and recharge every day so that I can be safe at work, feel safe at work, and care for myself first, my team second, and the patients will follow. So please, 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 3 things. Change up your questions. Listen more than you talk, right? Focus on appreciation and recognition. Every time you round on someone lessens their chance of leaving you by 3 times. And put a resiliency question in there. Focus on resilience. Dig at people to really see how their resiliency is going. So don't stop believing in rounding, people. Refresh. It's not your employees. It's you. Okay? Assess yourself. Give this live some careful consideration. If you'd like to learn more about rounding or a giant refresher, go to our website, www.capstoneleadership.net. Go to the training page and sign up for the Galena Summit this week only, baby. It was Capstone's birthday on Sunday. We are 8 years old. Can you believe it? Most small businesses in America only last 5 years. So I'm pretty darn proud of the fact that we've been making healthcare a more positive place to work for 8 years. So for 8 straight days until February 10th, you have the opportunity to sign up for either our Frankenmuth Summit in September, which is at a Michigan brewery, yay, or Galena, the Eagle Ridge Resort. And if you've never been to Galena, Illinois, check it out. We found Galena, Illinois because Midwest, it's considered to be the Midwest best place to have a wedding. And nobody's getting married on our time, but it's a great learning environment too. We love Galena, Illinois. So that's going on April 28th through the 30th. And our summits are a premier learning event. Hope to see you there. And sign up before February 10th and you get half off. Bye now.